What's up, guys? I was just driving my Traxxas here, 10 scale 4x4 Slash, and basically at some point while driving it earlier today, this front right wheel stopped responding, and then I found out that the belt crank shaft is missing a screw connecting it to the servo on the other side. So now this video is going to be a repair on the belt crank for 10 scale Slash Traxxas 4x4. Let's get into it. So I got my parts. Let's go ahead and take a peek. Shouldn't take too long, I wouldn't think. All it is a screw. Worst thing is having to take so much stuff off just to get at it, so hopefully maybe there's a faster way of doing it. Or not. Of course, I don't have any better tools, so this is going to take me a while. Maybe I'll fast forward for everyone else. I'll start with taking, I believe, at starting point you got 4 screws here. One here, 2, well, I guess I'll pick it up so everyone can see. If you didn't already know, but there's one here, 2, and the 2 on the bottom, 3 and 4. I mean, there really ain't much to see here. You know what you take out, you start loosening all these up. Like I said, if I had a better tool than a little dinky Allen wrench, or even a power tool, which I probably have, it'd just go a little faster. There's one. Of course, this is right in the way. Nothing else, if nobody knows what it is, you'll see as soon as we get it wide open. And I don't know every single little thing about RCs. I'm starting to get into the 10 scale Traxxas stuff. And I do know what it is as far as what I've seen and the way it's responding, and what happened is it basically stopped turning right. And luckily I wasn't flooring it when it happened. I was just making a small turn, and it went into the curb at like 3 miles an hour, if that. And I wondered why would that happen. And I tried backing up and I saw the wheels all weird on one side. And I picked it up, and just like I showed on the camera in the beginning, this front right one is pretty much lifeless. And luckily it should be an easy fix as long as all it is one missing screw. But my biggest question is hopefully I could get this whole thing off without having to take a whole bunch of stuff off. start with these first because I know this has to come off one way or another. And basically this is going to be hopefully a video that helps anyone else out who has one. If a similar situation comes up, they'll know where to go or how to do it or what to look for. So now we got the first. Look at that, awesome. Came off a lot easier. This whole piece is now off. Don't want that to come out. So, before I get too far, I gotta flip it upside down and disconnect it from the actual servo arm so I can take the entire thing off and get it out of the way so I can find a screw to replace it. Or maybe I might not even need to do that. Flip it over one more time. Actually, now I see what's going on here. Okay. I swear this thing was off better than it is now. So I see what it is, and maybe I'll just adjust the camera and show you how simple it is. I don't even have to go really much further in disassembling. Actually, I got lucky. I'm gonna fix the camera here so everyone can see what I'm doing. So sorry for the jiggly amateur camera stuff. Usually I'm better at filming, but usually don't film close-up detailed stuff. Let's see if I have enough room to move the lights real quick. Let's see here. Maybe just a tripod. Everything's on the way. I'm going to try and zoom in on where I'm actually going to be doing the work here. If we can't see, it's literally this detached from this, causing this one to have free movement. All I need now to replace it with a new screw, and then we're all set, and then I'll turn around and show you that it's fixed. Simple thing, luckily for me anyways. Stupid that it happened at all, but that's what happens. But to be honest, I actually ever once, almost full throttle, smashed it into a curb like almost a week ago and acted like nothing happened. So if that didn't crack this little screw that is now needing to be replaced today, then it's otherwise pretty tough, because it literally just kind of fell out of nowhere, and it happened, like I said, at a slow turn, so I don't quite understand what else would have caused it besides that first bigger impact hit. That was stupid funny. If I'm lucky, I don't know how much everyone can see, but this is literally all I'm doing is trying to replace with the correct size screw so it stays and holds. Now that I do have it off, I'll sort of ask some advice for the veteran Traxxas guys, because as we can see now, here, let me back out real quick. Now the whole thing actually does what it's supposed to do again. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, the question is I think that ain't quite the screw I need. But the whole question is, oh yeah, the next issue in question is basically, oh yeah, right here. It came with 2 washers. I don't want to pull this all out for nothing. And the other ways don't attach any better. But one of the 2 washers never fit down the little shaft part that they sit in. I don't remember quite which side, but regardless. And then when I have it attached, I'll show you, and you can almost see right now that it's just not, I don't know, as sturdy as it is. So either A, are they supposed to be washers or bearings? So if anyone knows, and whoever watches this, whenever the time comes, maybe I'll still own it or not, but the whole question is it supposed to be washers or bearing or both? And when it gets put together here in a second, I'll show you what I mean. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. You just gotta take those 4 screws out, 1, 2, 3, 4, as I already showed you. Luckily I didn't have to do anything more than slide this off of the actual center drive shaft sleeve casing, whatever you want to call it, and then it had full access, didn't have to do any more, and replace with a new screw, because I'd be lucky if I could find the original screw. I kind of know where to look if I really want to go that route, but for now let's put it back together. Zoom back out. It should be as simple as lining everything up. If I could kind of get better angles of lighting and everything else. See what I can do. Well, this has to go on here. There's an easier way, I guess I'll learn one day, but I don't hopefully plan to be taking this off too often. Look at how simple this is, but yet there's always a struggle. So that snaps back in. Everything's lined up. That's only cocked because I've turned the steering a little here and there, but now we flip it back right side up. And if I zoom over real quick, use those 4 screws, go right back in the hole again. So I'll turn it around. You guys pretty much know where they go. I pointed it out at least twice already. I'm going to start with the front because it's easier to get at. I'm doing this left-handed for right now, but I am definitely right-handed. Nobody cares if I put my hands in the way. I don't know, hopefully anyone likes this, might get any help from what's the easier way to do it. I mean, my whole thing when I watch YouTube videos is that they act like everyone knows where things go. Nobody always quite talks about the beginner's point of view entirely. But what I mean by this and bringing this up is because I got this used. It did not come with a manual. Actually it did, but I didn't get the manual and everything until after things were being adjusted and upgraded. And the whole purpose why I bought this is because every red aluminum piece on this vehicle I got previously from an order that they basically screwed up on, gave me all these aluminum pieces for a vehicle I didn't even own. I believe I was trying to get these for the Traxxas Stampede, which honestly I don't even like that thing. I ended up selling it or trading it for something else either way at some point, and ended up with all this stuff. And then never had the vehicle till recently, the past couple weeks. Now I'm happy that I held on to them, never sold the parts. And the day I got this, I put it on here. All the aluminum parts, which definitely are going to help it, the whole vehicle all around perform, and if nothing else, last longer period. Less parts to be replaced. Like even now, this whole point of this video is because one little screw somehow either got loosened up to the point where it fell off from an impact, and or if this happens again, then I'll start putting Loctite, because most people have always said you might as well put Loctite on if you're going to do metal to metal, which is kind of obvious. But this is the first time this has happened, so I'm going to see if it happens again, then I will put Loctite on and make it worth it. Other than that, it's held up fine everything else. So I got one more to do. Once again, sorry for all the amateur jiggling and shaking. Just to put some screws in. We're on the last screw anyways. Which is right here. Just to help yourself, it's easier to hold that piece from the bottom and push up as you get starting with the screw here, so it's not dangling and putting the threads at an angle and making a bigger hole than necessary. So, all back together again. I don't know how long it took. It took more time for me talking about it than it probably would have took just doing it. So yeah, there it is. Oh. Everything's back to normal. Look at this is exactly what I mean though. How much play is there supposed to be? And what can I do to fix it? Maybe I'll figure it out on my own, but until then, if anyone wants to put some comments, like you could see, there's movement on both sides, even when I hold everything still. Maybe not as easy to see on camera, but it definitely has some play. It drives straight though. Even when I set the alignment, it stays and goes. Even the day I hit that curve, it still went straight. It didn't do anything. It didn't wobble, nothing. Just acted like nothing happened. So, I'm going to put the battery in real quick, turn it on, and see how it looks. Make sure it's all dandy. There's the remote transmitter's on. Where's the battery? The battery's always hiding. I put it in the other vehicle because I was using that, but I'll grab another one. I'll go ahead and turn around. I mean, I don't even need to do all this, just for the hell of it. there's that. I mean, if nothing else, when I did buy it, the guy looks like he upgraded the motor and put this aftermarket fan, heat sink with fan, and bought the additional fan for the ESC. So let's see. This one always makes the weird sound. Or maybe it is this one. Anyway. Acts like nothing happened. I mean, it's definitely fixed. Can go ahead and run it again tomorrow. Groovy. So there you go. And the recap is to simply, if and when the bell crank happens to lose a screw, weirdly, that's all it takes. So the recap is 4 screws on the front end of the chassis. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as those are out, you literally just spread open the front and do as I showed you. Basically just sit there, pick out a new screw. I mean, it wasn't exactly the screw I wanted because that one got lost outside, which I might actually know where it could be because I recorded that video prior, which then made me think, why don't I start my own channel and show you about the bell housing, bell shaft housing, whatever you want to call it, crankshaft, bell crankshaft housing, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know every single thing about the cars, but simplistically, it's that easy. And I'll kind of throw it all together so you kind of see how mine looks when completely put back together. And the guy did give me, luckily, a whole bunch of parts for accessories and parts. And real short, if I can, here's basically, I'll point out the parts that are clearly red aluminum. So starting with the rear shock tower, that I added the A-arms for the rear are aluminum. I believe C-hubs, or whatever you call them, are aluminum for each end. These tires came with my other Slash, which I may sort of preview after I point out all the aluminums. But those tires came from that, and they're not as squishy as the ones that I do have that did come with this, that I swapped out for the 2-wheel 10-scale Traxxas Slash over there, and pretty much the same parts up front. So the front aluminum shock tower, A-arms, C-hubs, if that's what these are. Excuse me if I don't know, but I'm just pointing out what I've done so far to it. And then clearly the bell crankshaft parts that we just looked at. So not a whole lot of upgrades, but for basically kind of for free. And I mean, obviously I paid for them, but to have them sitting around without the vehicle till the day I got the vehicle, so to me that's awesome. Got a bunch of decent upgrades. I believe this thing goes at least 65, because here's the other part. The battery he gave me is the one installed right now, which I will unplug so you're not wasting your battery. You always might as well unplug it if you're not going to actually use it. But he gave me the 25C 7.4 volt 2-cell 5,800 milliamp LiPo Traxxas battery. And that does well, and I'm sure that does the actual 50-55 at minimum. And then the actual other battery I have in this one, which I guess I'll just bring up here real quick. is a battery that I've had from the times I ever did the RC plane stuff. So here's the 2-wheel drive version. Same scale, same model, 2-wheel drive with the better tires. They're just a bit squishier and more broken, and clearly have been in use recently rather than something that was sitting in a closet, says the eBay seller when I bought this one online. And then, so as far as batteries and speed, while we're sitting here with everything in front of me and open in comparison, so this one's got a higher C rating, 25C. This is only 20. And then